everyone, I'm Mitchell, and if you haven't guessed by my surrounding, today I'm going to talk to you about water. But not just any water, I'm going to be talking to you about the city of water, Venice. Because when we think of water and gondolas and boats, what do we think of? Venice, of course. So, hop right in and let's get right into this. Venice Adventure, city of magic and mystery. Today we take you on a journey through the enchanting city of Venice, from the majestic Doge's palace to the intricate mosaics of St. Mark's Basilica. Discover the rich history and the culture. We explore the islands of Murano and Burano. And much more interesting things. You will see and hear today. I promise you will have an unforgettable time. Stay with me here. Let's get started. Doge's Palace. Long ago, in the beautiful city built on water, there stood a majestic palace called the Doge's Palace. It wasn't just any palace, it was the home of the most important man in the city, the Doge, like the king of Venice, but a Venetian word for it. The Doge's Palace was a gigantic building full of secrets and stories. Inside, you could find the most beautiful paintings and sculptures. There was a golden staircase that seemed to go on forever and ever. Also, there was a key room where the Doge and his advisors met. But the Doge's Palace wasn't just a beautiful place. It was also a place of justice. If somebody did something wrong, they would be sent to a nearby prison. And how did they get there? They had to cross a bridge that's called the Bridge of Sighs.
So this is the Doge's Palace on this side. And then this is the Bridge of Sighs. It's called that because that is the last place where the prisoners could look at, freedom a bit. And they would actually sigh because, it's the last thing they could see before jail.
And actually, the only person who escaped that prison and who's well known for it is Casanova. St. Mark's Basilica. St. Mark's Basilica is like a glittering treasure chest filled with beautiful, beautiful things. The walls of St. Mark's Basilica were covered in mosaics. They were like a giant puzzle made of millions of tiny jewels. Some described stories from the Bible. Others described saints and angels. Inside of the church was full of golden light and glittering chandeliers. It was like a palace for the gods. And there was a special altar called Pala di Oro, which was covered in precious stones and gold. It was so shiny that it looked like a rainbow had taken up residence inside the church. On the outside of the church was a large, sturdy door, guarded by two large lions. One had wings, the other did not. They were like protectors of the church, watching over everything and everyone. St. Mark's Basilica was a truly magical experience, the magic of Venice, and the beauty of the world. Florian from 𝐥𝐤𝐤 opened his coffee shop 300 years ago in 1720, and it still thrives in the same place, St. Mark's Square. Cafe Florian claims to be the oldest cafe in Italy and the second oldest in Europe. It's a legendary place, and walking into the place is like stepping back in time of coffee history. I imagined all the famous faces that could be sitting in that same place at the same time, just maybe in a different era or a different year, to be completely honest. Maybe perhaps Lord Byron, Charles Dickens, Mozart, maybe even Casanova, the guy that I mentioned earlier who managed to escape from the prison. Canal cruise. Imagine gliding through a maze of winding waterways surrounded by centuries-old architecture and multiple beautiful bridges that you could never imagine the decorations on. That is the magic of a gondola ride in Venice. Gondola, those iconic Venetian boats, have been plying the city's canals for centuries. Their distinctive shape, with a high bow and flat bottom, is perfect for navigating shallow waters and sharp turns. And let's not forget those famous gondoliers. They are very skilled navigators who mastered the art of maneuvering these boats through narrow passages and sharp turns of all types. They also learned how to go under very tight bridges in between tight spaces.
You can swim in pools like this one, but you can't swim in the canals that are in Venice.
A cruise is a feast for the eyes. Venetian palaces with their ornate facades and colorful shutters line the canals.
Gondola, you're singing
gonna go under the bridge. Look at the design, it's like an eagle, and it says Virginia. Maybe once we get under the bridge, it'll be easier to see it. Most gondoliers wear these types of shorts. Red, white, blue, white, black, white sometimes, on a rare occasion that I've seen. So I bought one of my own just to wear. It says Venice, Italia, and it has the symbol of Mark, a lion with an open book.
The Rialto Bridge, one of the city's most famous landmarks, could tower above you depending where you get your gondola ride. So next time you find yourself in Venice, don't miss the opportunity to take a gondola ride. Gondolas are well known in Venice, and you wouldn't want to miss out on one of the biggest traditions there is. So, it's a truly unforgettable experience. To summarize, this is what I'll say. This experience will leave you with memories that will last a lifetime. Venetian food, a funny story. Once upon a time, there was a traveler named Marco. He visited Venice, and he was so hungry that he could have eaten a horse. He went next to a local restaurant and ordered everything on the menu. The waiter was shocked, flabbergasted you might say, but brought him a feast of risotto, seafood, pasta, and multiple more things. So, what did Marco do? He ate until he could no longer move. As he was leaving, the waiter called out to him and said, "Next time, try the fratelli. They're delicious." Marco smiled and said, "I will be back for those." Maritime Museum. The Maritime Museum in Venice is like a time machine for sailors. If you like ships, then you should definitely check it out. You'll see ships of all shapes and sizes, different types, different colors, anything that you can imagine. It's like they sailed right out of a pirate movie.
So this ship that we see here, just the model, the Greeks used it and the Romans. So originally the Greeks had a design as in to scare their enemies away, as in if this was a predator. So this ship, they would have shields to protect themselves and archers. So this little spike right here, they would actually use it to ram into enemy ships, causing the whole part to just decimate. Yeah, but what did the Romans do? Of course, the Romans stole the design just like they stole the Greek gods. See, now they made a similar design, except this time it was a bit different and it flew the Roman flag, and they also had very different defenses. So this is the difference.
So, you can climb aboard, pretend you're the captain, steering the ship through the stormy seas, commanding your crew. There are also exhibits filled with treasures from the deep. You see ancient maps, strange sea creatures, and even a few sunken treasures. It's like a pirate's treasure chest, but instead of gold, it's filled with history. So, if you're ready to set sail on a journey through time, the Maritime Museum is the perfect place. Just be careful not to get lost in the maze of ships and stories. Vivaldi's Summer Concert, a very sweaty affair. Imagine this, you're in a historic Venetian church, the kind with towering ceilings and intricate mosaics. The air is thick like a heavy blanket, and the temperature is sizzling to 100 degrees, or so it feels like because of the moisture. You're there to hear a Vivaldi concert, one of those legendary performances that people rave about. As the music begins, you're transported. The violins soar, the cellos rumble, and the flute dances. It's beautiful, but you can't help to think about the poor musicians. They're standing there, sweating like crazy, their instruments probably feeling like hot plates in their hands. They have to wear suits, which just makes the job a lot harder as well. The entire hall, as in everybody there, uses purchased tickets only as a hand fan. You start to feel a little faint. The heat is getting to you, and you're desperately trying to find a cooler spot. In the end, you manage to survive the concert. The music is so good, it almost makes you forget about the heat. As you leave the church, you give a silent salute to the musicians. They're true heroes for enduring such conditions. The Grand Canal and its bridges. That's the magic of Venice! The Grand Canal is the city's main artery, a serpentine waterway that winds its way through the heart of Venice. It's like a floating boulevard, lined with towering buildings and historic palaces. One of the most famous bridges spanning across the Grand Canal is the Rialto Bridge.
And we are at Rialto, which is the most famous bridge here, and it has a very interesting history.
It's a marvel of architecture, a stone arch that's been the symbol of Venice for centuries. Legend has it that a brave Venetian merchant named 𝐥𝐢𝐤𝐤 built the bridge to connect the two main parts of the city. Finally, there's the Bridge of Fists, also known as Ponte di Pugni.
𝐾𝐨 and 𝐶𝐨, another two clans, recreated a similar story here at Ponte del Pugni.
This Bridge of Fists is a rather unique and famous landmark in Venice, but not known for its beauty, but actually it's passed as a battleground, so it tells a different type of story. For 400 years, Venice was divided by rivalries between the Nicoletti and the Castelli clans. These battles and arguments often led to escalated violent confrontations, with Ponte di Pugni becoming their chosen area of battle. Imagine this: no railings, just a narrow bridge and the canal under it. The two rival groups would charge at each other in brutal fistfights, aiming to knock their opponent into the not-so-clean canal below. At the time, all the water that was waste went into Venice, so the water was, needless to say, kind of filthy.
But people would still love to watch it. It's like a free Colosseum. People would line up all on these windows, on these roofs. It's like getting seats to a baseball game.
Except it's not baseball, it's a fight.
400 years until 1705. One clan would be on this side and one on this side. People everywhere would watch, and it's like tickets to a baseball game. They would watch. They would come into all of these windows, on the roofs, everywhere they possibly could to get a seat, just to see the two fight. Now, how could they tell who's who, which clan's which? Difference is their hats. One clan wore red hats, the other one wore black hats. So, that's how you can tell the difference.
Island Adventures, Murano and Burano. Welcome to Murano, the island of glass blowers. It's like a real-life wizard's workshop, but instead of magic wands, they create stunning glass masterpieces. Watch as these skilled artisans twirl molten glass on long pipes, shaping it into delicate vases, intricate chandeliers, and even tiny glass animals. It's a mesmerizing dance of fire and glass, a ballet of molten beauty. Burano, on the other hand, is a painter's dream. This tiny island is famous for its brightly colored houses, which seem to have stepped out of a children's storybook. Every house is painted in a different color, creating a little crayon box, making your eyes pop. No house is ever the same. There will not be two greens, one greenhouse and another one, neither for red or any other color, unless both houses are the same residence, of course. It's quite cool and looks very funny, where every home is a different shade of happiness. So some say it was used to help fishermen find their way home, while others say it was simply to brighten up their island. Either way, it's a feast for the eyes and a photographer's paradise.
Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed my video very much. And if you did, hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell for more awesome videos like this. Also, one day, I hope that you see the magical land of Venice for yourself. That's all for today. Mitchell, out.